Welcome to Build. I'm Joe Levy, a contributing editor at Rolling Stone, and I'll be talking with GASHI, who's releasing his self-titled major label debut this week. Born in Africa, raised in Brooklyn by parents from Kosovo, GASHI is a rapper with real range. He's recorded with French Montana and DJ Snake. He's managed by Jay-Z's Rock Nation. But earlier this year, he recorded an interesting version of the Nine Inch Nails song Hurt in the spare style that Johnny Cash brought to it. He also told the New York Times that he's been working on an album about a rapper stuck in a time machine forced to make 80s music. So we've got a lot to talk about. Let's take a look at this video telling his story. Please welcome GASHI.
Yeah. Thank you. Wow.
Man, so, we always talk about the journey, an artist's journey, but in a very real sense, yours has been an epic journey. I know that you were born in Africa.
Yeah.
And if I have this right, you lived in 24 different countries before you and your folks and your brother and sister got to Brooklyn when you were 11.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm live right now. We're chilling. Sorry. I'm a little nervous. Yeah, my parents and I are refugees from Kosovo and traveled that many countries in a short amount of time to get here. My mom and dad, they had this whole like plan set, like we want to get to America, give our kids better education and more opportunity, and somehow, some way they did it. And we got here, and me being the youngest son is like I'm still fighting for the American dream every day, So yeah, that's right. We got here, and it's been a long journey, and I feel like I'm not where I always say. Thank God I'm not where I used to be, but like the journey still continues. Like it's just never. It's like it feels like it's never ending. Like
yeah, absolutely. But
yeah.
but let's talk a second about what you just said. You know where you used to be.
Yeah.
Because I know that you started college on a football scholarship.
Yeah.
But you were actually skipping practice for studio time. Is that right?
Yeah, I went to. So in high school, I did theater, and somebody came up to me, kind of bullied me, and was like, "Why don't you play a real man sport?" And I was like, "What's a real man sport?" And they're like, "Play football." And I was like, "Okay." So I joined in, and then someone said, they're giving out scholarships, and I hate school, but it's like my parents were janitors, and I didn't want them paying for my school, or putting money together. I was like, you know what? I hate being here as it is. So I joined the football team, scored so many touchdowns where I got a full scholarship. And then when I got there, I realized I wasn't happy as my teammates who played since they were 3. And I was thinking about it. I was like, what makes me happy is music. It's always been there. And I started recording over Kid Cudi beats. And I started cutting practice to record, and I had a job as a doorman at the college campus for my dorm, and they'd pay me, and I would save up all the money and go record. And before you know it, I was like, this is what I want to do full time. And I met this rapper named Nipsey Hussle. May he rest in peace. He was the first feature I did, and then he motivated me enough to drop out of college and do it for real. So I dropped out, and that's it.
Although, I mean, all of that is amazing. That's not quite it, because you've also talked about having periods where you were homeless after that.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I thought,
and both in New York and Los Angeles.
Yeah, because I thought that I was gonna put out a CD, and I thought it would get me my deal, and I'd be this huge star, right? And long story short, I put the CD out, and it didn't take off, and I lost my scholarship, so I couldn't go back, and I ended up in the streets of New York pushing the CD that I recorded. So I'd be actually right here on these streets right here on Broadway, and I'd be on Prince and Mercer, and people would see me with 2 jackets on selling my CD. I'd be at Wendy's sleeping on a train. I was homeless for 2 years, and I'd run into Kanye. I'd run into all these big artists. There's if you Google a picture of GASHI and Kanye, there's a picture when Kanye grabbed the CD from me and gave me a handshake, and someone caught that. So So if you Google that, you'll see that. But I was out here, I was pushing this CD, and when I realized that it was not going to work out for me, it was at a point where it's like, my mom called me. She was like, I lost my job. I need your help. You need to go back to school. And I decided to move back in my mom and register for school that Monday, Kingsborough College, which was like a local college in Brooklyn. And then before you knew it, I'm driving my mom that Sunday night, and the song came on the radio. One song that I did called "Who Made Me." There was a guy named Peter Rosenberg from Hot 97.
Yeah.
He played that record, and I thought it was a sign from like the gods of like music.
Well,
to
first
like,
off, it's a sign from Peter Rosenberg, which is kind of a sign from the gods of music.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal, especially from like coming from New York, man. It's like, you know how many artists are in New York? There's like 2 rappers per building, you know? Like, so I feel like when he played it, I pulled over, I looked at my mother and I said, Mom, listen, if you're playing this game with me right now, this is not the time. So I'm switching the stations, and it was really on Hot 97. And I started crying. She cried, and she woke me up the next morning. I was like, why'd you wake me up? I'm not going back to school, you know? So I started chasing it still, and then before you know it, I put out the song called Room 4, and there was a guy named Jason Flom who signed Lord, Katy Perry, and a bunch of pop artists. He reached out to me. It was like, I want to meet you, and then I met up with him. I ended up signing with Lava Records, which was like a crazy moment because I thought I was like on, but I wasn't. I signed for like $5,000, and I ended up still back in New York, just still grinding. You think if you sign a deal, you're on, but you're not. And I ended up signing a deal that was not for me, and I had to figure out a way to get out of that deal, and I did. I found another artist for him, and I asked him to get dropped. I got dropped, flew out to L.A., was homeless in L.A., sleeping on other people's couches and stuff. And this is long story short, too, you know. I've been through so much to get here, you know what I mean?
Because, I mean, this is your major label record, but you've been on this for almost a decade now.
Yeah, I've been on it for 10 years. I've been doing music for 10 years, and it took me 7 years to have one decent year. You know, I also like, you know, coming from Brooklyn, I always dreamed of like signing to Kanye West or Jay-Z and being this huge artist. You know, I always wanted to be like the artist that has no genre, which I am today. I am that. I have no genre. I'm an artist. I don't see myself as one thing, you know. But, you know, in life, things don't happen as you plan. But sometimes they do happen. It's just, it happens when you don't really care anymore. One night, I just stopped caring.
Tell me about that.
I got in trouble with the law. And it was over a parking spot. I got in trouble with the law, and it's like the Fresh Prince story. I got one little fight, my mom got scared, and I got in trouble with the law, man, and it kind of mentally like messed me up to the point where I saw how fast your freedom could get taken away, and I forced myself to be like, no, nothing's gonna get taken away from me. My dreams are everything. I flew out to LA, though I was scared of flying. I found a way to hop on a plane, face my fears, and go out there. But when that situation happened, I don't want to get too detailed with it, but when that situation happened, it kind of made me fearless. You know, I think if you're watching this, whoever you are out there, as soon as you leave your comfort zone, I think your dreams come true. I think people live on fear because they think that if they live on fear, it's going to prevent bad things from happening. But what they don't know is if you live on fear, the only thing you're preventing is your life.
You're locking yourself in your own prison.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I think I don't live on fear anymore. I used to be afraid to take in elevators. You know, I called my whole album Stairs. My first project was not album. My first project was Stairs. And it's because I trapped myself in a room doing drugs and mentally started creating problems that were not even true or real in my head. And that's the old me. I feel like that's not me no more. I think I'm super positive. I live off love, and I try to make everyone around me feel concern free and let them know that I care about no matter what you're going through. I would love to listen, you know, because I've been through a lot and no one was really there for me, you know. So I try to be the person I never had in my life, you know. So like even with my nephew, you know, I went shopping with my nephew yesterday. I had an off day, and I took him shopping. I bought him everything he wanted and like spoiled him. And I know it's like not the right thing to do, but like I never had no one do that for me. So it's like I'm doing everything that I wish would have been for me. And I learned the hard way. I always wished I had a cool uncle in the music business that was rich. Like, oh my God, imagine I had an uncle like fund me, you know, like invest in me, you know. So now my nephew could say I have an uncle. So, you know, like
now you're a cool uncle.
I'm the rich uncle I never had. So that's what's happening. Yeah.
So we were talking backstage, and you said something that interested me. You were talking about a moment. You were out in LA, you were just stopping in the bathroom, you heard a beat, and you're like, I got to get on that. And you said something that I've heard you say before, that you did the whole thing front to back, just in the moment.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of songs you've done like this.
Yeah, I don't write anymore. Every single song is one take. I stopped writing a long time ago. I think it's, when you're thinking about it, I don't think you mean it. You know, I go into the booth, I turn off the lights, and I just sing the song. In the weird way, I like let the spirits in the room. I think every room has spirits in it, and I feel like I let everything guide me to making this amazing song, you know?
But when that's happening, are you drawing on sort of concepts that you've been thinking about, or do you keep a rhyme book? Or
No.
It's just all in the moment?
All in the moment, man. I just feel like, you know, certain beats are like they kind of make you say certain things. Like that song, Disrespectful. Like I've made hundreds of songs before that, and I didn't get no deal or anything. You know what I mean? I was driving my friend Rory's Prius down Ventura. I get a call like, hey, you want to record? Two kids I met at a party last night. They were engineers, whatever. I go to their house, and I didn't have Wi-Fi, and my phone wasn't working because I was broke, and I would use their Wi-Fi. I was in the bathroom for like an hour, and my legs were numb.
Using the Wi-Fi.
Using their Wi-Fi, and they thought like, yo, oh my God, that's the longest someone's ever used our bathroom. They were like, are you alive in there? I was like, yeah. And then they knocked on the door. I came out. They're like, do you want to record? And I jumped in the booth, recorded that song, and I left. I didn't think that song would change anything. And then I left the bathroom, left their crib after I recorded it, and went to my house, got a call, flew out to New York to see my mom and my sister. They said, what have you been working in LA on? And I said, I recorded these two songs. And I played that song I recorded, and then my mom recorded me dancing to it. And then she goes, why don't you just post it on Instagram? I said, okay, cool. I posted it on Instagram, and I had like 200,000 views.
Yeah, blew up.
And it blows up. The song blows up out of all the songs. That song.
And this is a theme for you too, because I've seen video of you at RCA, the label that signed you, that put this record out, or is putting this record out. I've seen video of you there the day they signed you. Your music is on in the conference room.
And I'm turning up. I just feel like, you know what, man, it's like, if you love what you do, how could you just sit there and be normal? Like when you show your work. You know what I'm saying? Like me, like I love what I do, man. Like I love my music. It's my art. You know what I mean? I feel like my mom's always telling me, because I'm Albanian, so like our parents are like want to get us married at 18, you know? So it's like, they're like, when are you gonna get married? When you have kids? But they don't understand that my music is like, I make the baby, I name it, and I send it out to the world. It's just like having a kid, you know? And my mom would be and my dad would be at the football games going crazy when they saw me score, right? So like when I'm playing my child, I'm going crazy because it's like, this is dope, you know?
Same sense of pride they had watching you. You hear your music, you're feeling that same sense
exactly. I'm proud of it, man. I'm proud of it. If anything you make, you can't just present it and be like, yeah, this is it. What you think? Like, nah, man, you should be proud of that. You should, whatever you doing, you know what I mean? If you're a stripper, like, pop that. Let's go. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, all right. Anything you do.
If you're a doctor, heal that.
Exactly. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so heal that. Yeah. Yeah, do something.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, man, I feel like that song changed everything. I ended up signing with Jay-Z. And I management, like I'm managed by Jay-Z and Rock Nation. And then I ended up signing to RCA Records, and I put out records, and I went platinum. And yeah, like I just been going up, and I'm just
as you put it, this is your year.
Yeah, this is my year, man. And you know what? It's so interesting, like Sam Smith reached out and was like, we need to work and do a song together. Like certain artists that I respect and was like, that I'm huge fans of, have been like DMing me saying how incredible my music is. And these are the things I dreamed of. And it's been so long that if I would have quit, I wouldn't have been sitting here with you. So the best thing I did in my life till today is not quit,
You said a few moments ago that you're really outside genre.
Yeah.
And I love one of the shorthand ways you've described that. Like I've seen you say, I'm the Phil Collins of trap.
Yeah.
I've also seen you say, I'm the Bono of trap.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was instantly like, this is an interesting guy, because not everybody wants to be the Phil Collins of anything, let alone trap.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
obsessed.
I'm
obsessed with the past.
Yeah.
Right. I'm obsessed with the past, and I love music, and I'm obsessed with I'm obsessed. I feel like, I love everyone, but I hate this era. It's too fast for me. It's too microwaved for me, and we just take it in and forget about it. And music is like, I drop an album. When this album drops Friday, a kid's gonna tweet me or write, "When's the new project dropping?" Right?
Well, we'll get to that in a second, because you actually have an answer for that.
Yes, I do have an answer
but
to that.
You're saying nobody has patience.
No one has patience. No one really cares, and no one loves the same. People, I find people say I love you to people that they don't really love because it's easier to say it. I just hate that. I hate using the word hate. I apologize. Like, I dislike that. It's trash, like it's so whack. Like, what happened to real music? What happened to real love? Like, when you hug somebody, you really mean it, And I'm obsessed with the past. I'm obsessed with true artists. And, like nowadays, man, you press play, it's all like the same music. It's like the same sound, It's like, okay, this song sounds like that last song. So after this album, I have an 80s album dropping. I made an 80s album. And I hated this era so much that I built a time machine and I went back to 1984. And I read about all millennial babies are after 1984. So all kids that were born after 1984 think that the world should be given to them and they shouldn't work hard for anything, So the reason why I called it 1984 was because of that.
And this is the concept of the record, just to be clear. You didn't actually travel back to 1984.
No, I did actually travel back.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right, I knew there was something special about you. No, but
No, but yeah, man, I traveled time, and I made incredible 80s things, music, and I made sounds that made me feel concern-free and trapped at that moment, at that time. So that is the next project after this coming out. So this is just to let the world know what I'm capable of doing, flexing like my talents a little bit. Like, oh, he could rap, he could sing, he could do all that stuff. And then the next project is me basically sinking into one thing. I visit my friend Danny. He shows me a time machine that he's built. He puts me in it, and then boom, the album starts. And I'm also doing different sounds on it, but it's just the vibes, you know what I mean? I want it to feel like New York in the 80s, LA in the 80s, palm trees and all that stuff, yeah.
And you've got an interesting way of looking at it, too. You want to release both these records
back to back,
one after another.
Yeah, so people are like, oh my God, like it's like some of those songs I heard already before, like relax, fall back. Like I got an 80s album coming out, that 10 songs you've never heard before. So yeah, this is what I'm working on. And the photo that is this photo that you see here was shot by one of my favorite photographers who did Kanye and Frank Ocean's first album, worked on their covers and their albums, and his name is Nabil. And when I first started doing the music thing, that was a dream of mine, and I actually did it. You know what I mean? Everyone said, no, you're crazy. Like, you need to get hyped to do that. Like, no, like, I went to his crib and he did it. You feel me? Like, the whole point of this is I told you I was going to sign to Jay-Z, and it did happen, okay? Like, I told you I was going to sign and get a major deal. It happened, okay? I told my parents that I was going to move them into their first house. It happened. You know what I mean? So, like, the album comes out, get it, because it's going to be motivational and it's going to motivate you to not quit, chase your dreams, and do amazing things. And the second one is to, if you're anyone in here that's kind of feeling shitty, am I allowed to curse or not?
Yes, you are.
Okay, cool.
It's too late to ask because you've already done it, but yes, you are.
All right, cool. If you're feeling shitty, the next album is to make you feel like a baby. That's that. I want you to feel like a baby. And that's what the second album's about.
All right. And also, he did tell you he's building a time machine. So I think we've got time for one question from the audience.
Hi. I can't wait to hear your new project. But since you know how the struggle is, right, the grind is, what like advice would you give to upcoming artists that like, you know, haven't hit the numbers yet or only have like some streams? Yeah.
That's the same question I asked J. Cole sitting right there in the Apple store, which is crazy.
Really?
That's so weird that you did it. They said, okay, J. Cole, you have one question, and they picked me, and that was the question I asked him. And I don't remember the answer he gave me. But how you doing? First of all, thank you for being here. And my answer to that is the numbers and all that is bullshit. Don't pay attention to the numbers because 90% of these people are faking their numbers. One, likes fake, comments fake. Scroll through, look at it. It's all fake. And they're buying plays. They're buying numbers. You know, me, I hit 80 million plays on my Creep On Me record. It's a celebration. Why? Because it's organic. I'm the Whole Foods and Trader Joe's of music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm actually, when you start comparing yourself to others is when you start feeling down. When you're looking through Instagram, those are all highlights and they're all covering fake-ish. It's all fake. So what I would say is like, don't compare yourself to the next person. Don't compare yourself to another artist. Don't compare yourself. You know what I mean? If you're going to compare yourself to anyone, it should be people that have done it before and are great and are like on the next level. You know what I mean? Not new artists, because I feel like you start feeling down. You might not get the help you want. I think once you put your head down and you look straight forward and you're not, I think what I did best was put my, like this, like, I don't know, I put the